Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing this Tuesday night? Guess I'm going to cover a little bit more on what happened in Portland with the Antifa over the weekend. Let's get it started. All right, guys. If most of you should know, a lot of the mainstream media is not covering it, but Andy No was attacked by Antifa over the weekend, and he suffered a brain bleed, and it was pretty serious. And no, the mayor now is basically defends non-responsive to Antifa's anarchy, and this here's from the Daily Caller from October 14th, 2018, and the mayor of Portland defended the city's response or lack thereof to members of Antifa who blocked traffic and harassed bystanders after a video incident went viral. Uh, the the mayor said he was appalled by the video he saw, and believe law enforcement professionals who have weighed complex and legal safety as the issue, not only for the people on the streets but for themselves. Yeah, this was just a bad thing that happened. But the problem that I have is that the mayor's let this continue to happen. How many times have we heard about Antifa in Portland getting out of hand? It's the Antifa versus Proud Boys, and they need to do something here because innocent people are getting seriously hurt. I mean, he needs to, tell the police, hey, look, you see these guys here, you need to start arresting them. I think it's fine to protest, but I think they need to say, "Hey, look, you're not allowed to wear these masks. If you're going to protest, your faces have to be uncovered, and actually force the issue." What is it? And you also had this guy here that was hit in the head with a crowbar. And they got lucky they didn't kill him. I mean, you get hit in the head with a crowbar, you get hit in the right place, you can actually, lights out, curtains, you're done. But, yeah, this isn't being handled very well. I mean, you can see pictures of Andy Nug, and then Ted Cruz calls for, I don't even know what this is. Tea Party from, I don't know, it was something I looked up first thing I came to. Usually I try to stick to I guess the main sources, mainstream media, I guess. But yeah, Ted Cruz tweeted out to federal law enforcement investigate bring legal action against mayor who has, for political reasons, ordered his police officers to let citizens be attacked by domestic terrorisms. And yeah, for that, the mayor is not handling this at all well. You know, Portland police, Portland mayor police come under fire after a right wing writer attacked on the post. How is this guy a right wing reporter? Is what I want to know. They're just, I don't know. People are labeling him, and all he was doing was covering the event. And this is from, I guess, a local Oregon newspaper. But Ted Wheeler's police force have come under criticism after an attack on a conservative writer during protests on Saturday. Despite large showing, left-wing protesters showed up in hundreds, while right-wing demonstrators numbered only a few dozen. So how this makes no sense. You have one showed up in the hundreds. Not an exact count, hundreds. So what was there, 100 people, 200 people, 300 people, and a few dozen people, and they start attacking people? What? And, oh, I didn't even know that. Oh my God, that's just, how is that possible? That's just not right. Still, one of them has garnered outsized attention in many conservative circles, condemning the mayor and police for perceived inaction in the face of violence. They're labeling him, a right-leaning provocateur with online news and opinion outlet of Culet, which identifies Andy No as an editor and photojournalist, went to left-wing demonstration around noon on Saturday. Around 1:30 p.m., he was attacked by a group of masked individuals who kicked, punched, threw milkshakes at him, and quickly left the scene and was admitted to the hospital, he said on Twitter. I mean, dude took a beating. And then there's live video. I mean, you can. There's a video all over the place. You can look it up and see. An Oregon Live reporter caught the attack on video, though the video doesn't show what participated in the attack. It doesn't matter. I mean, you got one guy here, and this guy went on, was it I don't know, CNN, and I want to say Dave Weinstein's program. And he's like, I've never been in a fight before. I didn't know what a punch felt like. Why police were lined up along the perimeter of a parking lot parked before the attack, but no one intervened to break up the fight. Why were the cops not able to go in and stop this? You see an assault, they should have to do there unless the mayor's telling them to stand down. I don't know. That just does not seem right here. And this is where Ted Cruz is, calling for, basically being investigated. Neither Portland Police Bureau or spokesman for Mayor Ted Wheeler immediately responded to requests for comment on Sunday, but there's no evidence Wheeler ordered the police to let citizens be attacked. I don't know. I think if you're a police officer and you see one person getting beat by a dozen people, you go and you intervene, unless you're told not to. Richard Grinnell asked the Justice Department to investigate incident in Portland. I can't just sit by and watch my friends be brutally attacked. This was a premeditated, he went on to tweet that this is a premeditated attack on someone intolerant of radicals don't like that Andy happens to be gay, Asian, and conservative. They targeted him publicly before the protest. Mayor Ted Wheeler knew this was coming, and people in Oregon must speak up on Twitter. The attack was widely condemned by prominent national reporters as well, who viewed the incident. Finally, Jake Taffer, yeah. He states that it's reprehensible, and it is, and that's the video that they didn't show what happened there. No's writing often labels an opinion when published in mainstream outlets has been controversial. An opinion piece he wrote for the Wall Street Journal last year about his experience visiting London's Muslim communities was widely panned as racist and Islamophobic. In response to the op-ed published by the Business Insider, London resident Alex Locke called the piece cowardly, race-baiting, and said No engaged in weak attempt skew facts, promote fear of Muslims. An article published in the New York Times questioned the veracity of reports of hate crimes against gays and transgender people that spread in Portland earlier this year. No called the alleged hate crimes hoaxes, a move its critics say put vulnerable people in danger. No is a regular fixture at these protests in Portland, where he often live streams the events. Brian Seltzer called it out, said, No's attack should be called out as unacceptable even for our critics of conservative writers' work. Yeah, and nobody should have a problem. Saturdays did feature a few isolated flashes of intense violence. Aside from No's attack, a number of protesters engaged in bloody street brawls later in the day. Police declared a civil disturbance before protesters dispersed. The event was still more peaceful than riots plagued downtown than last summer. Yeah, I don't have any words for this, And then, Portland mayor tries to call out Ted Cruz's tweets, saying, "Dear Ted Cruz, at least get your facts straight. I ordered no such thing. Could you divert some of those investigation dollars to something that would actually benefit American cities? Infrastructure, affordable housing, mental health services come to mind." And that was his response there. And basically, Ted Cruz said, "All right, let's give it to you, guy." Yeah, here it says it was severely ratioed. Say, okay, Mr. Mayor, want to talk facts? Great fact number one: conservative journalist was violently assaulted by Antifa thugs on the streets of your city. Fact two: you said, "I support Portland Police Bureau's decision not to intervene." Fact three: you have a pattern of withdrawing. And there's two of two: police protection to further your political agenda. When Antifa terrorists threatened ICE in Portland, you ordered police not to protect federal agents. Here's a U.S. Senate resolution which I joined condemning your partisan civil rights violations. Wheeler can deny he ordered the stand down all he wants, but Portland Police Association President Darrell Turner issued a statement in the aftermath of Saturday's violence that would seem to back up Cruz's version of events. Bold emphasis added. Where are the voices condemning lawlessness and violence? If this violence had been directed at Antifa, there would have been immediate call for independent outside investigation. It's a perfect example of Portland politics at work and why our great city is now under fire from national news. Yeah. The mayor, our police commissioner, is not allowed to use the rank and file officers of Portland Bureau to shield or deflect Portland's negative press nationwide. As we have said before, we'll continue to say police officers work to uphold the Constitution, including the right to free speech. It's our job to ensure that our community can peacefully protest without fear of violence, but right now our hands are tied. So basically, yeah. Basically, this president of the police is saying, yeah, our hands are tied. It's time for Mr. Mayor to do two things. Tell Antifa and Proud Boys that our city will not accept violence in our city and remove the handcuffs from our officers and let them stop the violence through strong and swift enforcement action. Enough is enough. And I totally agree with that. I totally agree with his statement there. Let them start arresting people, locking people up, charging them, because sooner or later something's going to happen and it's going to turn worse than what it did. Somebody's actually going to get killed. Either somebody in Antifa is going to attack somebody that's probably got a concealed carry permit or just has a firearm on them for safety, and something like that's going to happen, and that person's going to say self-defense, and people are going to die. And then they're going to start blaming the guns and everything else, but yet they won't nip this in the butt. And they totally do need to nip this in the butt with Antifa. I mean, it's unbelievable that this has been going on for as long as it has. I remember hearing a story, I think last year, where the Antifa marched into a park where people didn't have anything, and they started putting, I believe they said, firecrackers into glass bottles and throwing them at people. Lighting the firecrackers on, throwing them in a bottle, and just throwing them and letting them, do whatever. This needs to stop. I'm all for protesting your rights and everything else, but right now Antifa does not, to me, in my opinion, does not act like they're anti-fascist. It seems like they are the fascists. That everybody's opinion doesn't matter but what they believe in. And they, if Portland doesn't get a handle on this soon, it's just going to keep getting worse. And I don't know. I don't know. But if you guys like the video, like, share, comment. If you don't, you think I'm just full of it, let me know. Alrighty, guys. Have a good one.